Have you ever been interested in getting more traffic to your website and acquiring more visitors without buying any traffic? Were you curious to figure out how the biggest websites in the industry grow that big and build their own customer base? Do you want to learn how to grow your own website to enormous sizes using only search engines? If your answer to all these questions is yes, then rest and relax for the next 15 minutes for our educators to introduce you to the world of fascinating search engine optimization, or simply SEO, with Marshall from SEO Backyard.
Hello everybody and welcome to interNEXT Expo 2021. I would like to thank you first of all for taking your precious time and for watching this SEO Masterclass. I'm Marshall, as most of you know me by. I'm from SEO Backyard, a business development and SEO services agency, and I'm a guy that for the last 15 plus years has been doing business development and search engine optimization for some of the largest and well-known companies in this industry. For more than 15 years, I have lived from SEO practice on my own websites. I owned networks of thousands of websites with many successful customers ranked on top search engine results with their properties. During the next 20 minutes, we're going to cover some of the most infamous SEO off-page optimization topics. Let's see how a usual day of an SEO expert looks like, which I'm sure you're interested in knowing more about. To make this class easier to watch, we will split it into two parts, where part 1 will be dedicated to explaining the external factors, such as backlinks and social signals, and part 2 will take care of how to execute the link building process. What is off-page SEO? As most of you probably know, off-page SEO, or also known as link building, is by definition the process of getting other websites to link to a page on your website in order to attract users and search engine traffic. Those links are called backlinks or external links, and they're HTML hyperlinks pointed from one site to another. And the most important part here is the process. It comes down to execution, and it is a tough process since people only look for the end result. And that is getting backlinks to their site. But the process is building relations with other site owners. And now that we know that, we can try to redefine this definition. Link building is the process of building relationship with other site owners who want to link back to your content because it improves the value of their content. If you go to a different city and ask totally unrelated people where is the best place to have a snack, for example, and they all say Burger Joe on the main square, you will most certainly know that place is a good one to get your food. And the same thing also goes with backlinks. You can consider each backlink pointed to your site as a vote for you. To boost search engine results, off-page SEO considers all operations conducted away from the website. Off-page SEO is synonymous with link building by most people, but it typically goes beyond that. If you leave a comment with a link on another site or write a guest article, that means you're doing an off-page promotion. Homepage SEO is something you have complete control over, but it's sometimes not the case for off-page SEO. Although it's pretty easy to manipulate your on-page ranking variables by adjusting different HTML page components, it's much harder to create links. Typically, it is an everyday task that is tiresome and needs a lot of patience and calculation, and it takes more time than just optimizing the elements of your web page. If you're confused as to whether your SEO plan is on-page or off-page, just ask yourself whether you have full control over it. If your response is no, it's most likely it is an off-page SEO technique. You need to think of a voting process when we speak about inbound links. One link is equal one vote, and the main question here is, are all the links equal? Obviously they're not. Will a regular citizen's vote have the same weight as a senator's vote? There would be definitely more weight on links that come from sites that have many inbound links. The significance of each link is determined by the number of links that point to the page on which the link is posted. But another aspect called topical relevance exists. What does that mean? For instance, if you were about to order food for your celebration and you got a recommendation from two friends, one of whom is, for example, a lawyer and the other one is a chef, who you are going to trust? Probably the one that deals with food already, I guess. The relevance of the linking page and your page also matters. What is the connection between the link authority and link relevance? If you have a website about politics and a link from a website within the same niche would carry more weight than a link from totally unrelated website. High DR or topical relevance that is low is better if you are after quickly getting better rankings. But if user conversions are your target, then what you should go for is high topical relevance for obvious reasons. What is the smallest building block of SEO? Most people would assume it's a website, but is it? For Google, the smallest logical block is a web page. A single web page in HTML format on your website. What does that mean and why is it so important? Well, most of you would think of optimizing a website in general, and what you should be thinking of is optimizing each separate web page of your website. And that implies two things. One, you can raise your rankings using your internal links, and B, it is not necessary for your inbound links to be from the main page of a website or even to be site-wide. What does all this mean? Well, it means that you need to focus on optimizing your pages instead of your website in general, since you won't just get traffic from the main page. This is the main mistake that most novices make when they start SEO practice, and it is the number one barrier for people that makes them give up on acquiring search engine traffic. A website that has links with most authority tends to become highly rated. Up until a few years ago, Google had PageRank but chose to remove it from public viewing. Since links cannot be easily evaluated, what are we supposed to do now? Well, Href Site Explorer, that is a paid service, and their free backlink checker are by far the most powerful tools in an SEO person's daily life. You need to learn which ratings are important for evaluating linking authority in order to be able to understand how to use those tools. UR and DR are the two most significant ratings. On a logarithmic scale from 0 to 100, the main rating represents the strength of the backlinks of a targeted website. The higher the number, the stronger the link. The objective of the domain rating is to evaluate a website's relative link popularity. DR is typically the most convenient metric to account for when evaluating the quality of a website for linking back to your assets. Link popularity or domain rating is also a useful metric for showing the potential of a website to get Google search traffic. DR and organic search traffic have a large correlation. A question that I get most of the time is, can you outrank a website with a high DR? And the answer is yes, you can, because there is no such thing on Google as a domain-wide authority metric. That means that if you create a better portfolio of links to your website that are within the same niche, you could get better results for a certain keyword than a high DR website. If you want to get a brief idea of how your website ranks on a scale of all the websites in the world based on its links, then AR is the most convenient universal metric. The lower it is, the better the ranking. That metric is commonly used for illustrative purposes only. There are three different categories of links that are important for ranking your website. 1. Natural links, 2. Manually obtained links, and 3. Self-created links. A natural link is a link that you have got without asking for it. That typically means that there is good content on your website that is worth sharing. Links acquired manually are links that are acquired by efforts. This means that to link to your page you need to spend time and energy or even money and contact website owners. You need to show other site owners that your website is worth featuring to get such links. To get such a link, the site linking to you has to be relevant to your content. There are three different categories of links acquired manually: featured free links, exchanged links, and paid links. There are different methods to obtain self-created links. The cleanest approach is to build good PR and submit it to various kinds of news websites relevant to the niche. But often when website owners create free blogs, when they produce forum posts, or even when they create a network of sites, that can be a good way to manipulate search engine results. While part 1 of this masterclass was covering general details about off-page SEO, in part 2 of this masterclass we will be talking about the specifics of link building process. What is a link building process? The link building campaign is a process of increasing links to your website through the utilization of content on your or other websites, whether those are editorial links or acquired links. Editorial links are links that are neither traded nor paid. Acquired links are links that are either acquired by payment, content creation, or by link exchange. Having a link from some other page that relates to your website is a key part of this process. The more authoritative the website, the stronger the weight of the link. But what people generally forget about is internal links. The internal links on your website must be strategically organized and structured. Internal pages are frequently ignored in SEO. Most SEO experts and website owners typically do not know how much of the link juice comes from the way that the internal pages are organized. This typically comes to focus when some of the pages have high-value inbound links. If you want to better understand the internal linking, take a look at how Wikipedia uses it, and aside from good inbound links, you'll understand why a website like that has such good search engine rankings. Acquiring external links is a self-explanatory technique used to create better rankings, but most of the time it's not evident how to start creating a link portfolio. A lot of background work is done before any linking campaign begins. The SEO expert should first Google the relevant topics and try to find out which sites are the authorities in the niche. The process begins by searching for similar keywords on Google and evaluating Hrefs, UR and DR metrics of the sites that are considered authorities. The higher the metric, the stronger the link. Link building simply comes down to sending multiple cold emails with your proposal, whether it is a link exchange or media buying, basically link buying. Although good content also results in links being created naturally by your website visitors, some industries are highly competitive and website owners and visitors are unwilling to link back to other websites. In that case, you're typically left to your imagination. Most of the activities mentioned are officially considered deceptive, but the grim truth is that they still work in 2021. There are several proven methods used by site owners and SEO experts to create new links. Create new assets on free Web 2.0 pages like forums and social posts, articles, blogs and free sites. 2. Exchange links with other sites. buying links, and building networks of sites with similar topics. Building Web 2.0 properties is typically a semi-automatic technique where specialized scripts or software use text-based articles to create a wide variety of websites on free platforms, such as social networks, blogs, article directories, and forums. This is often thought to be a shady black hat technique that could hurt the rankings in the long run. But it is not rare for anyone involved in this kind of tactic to pass a manual check because the quality of their work is very high. Websites used to host this type of content are typically high DR pages, and many different websites are created at once using this method, and they are usually linked in between to increase SEO strength. Link trading or exchanging links with other site owners is a popular method of obtaining new links. Involved site owners typically own more than one niche site. There are various ways to trade links, but when this technique is applied, try to avoid reciprocal links like ABBA links. Link buying is explicitly forbidden by Google, but most of the time it's impossible to prove that a certain link has been obtained by paying for it. So it's one of the most used and obviously abused strategies to create a link portfolio. It comes down to emailing a lot of websites inside your niche, all based on their Hrefs metrics. This approach can be very costly, as most of the time it is a method used by large corporations with high budgets to overpower the competition. High link building budgets do not allow smaller sites to compete for search engine traffic in more competitive markets. So you need to be very inventive if you have a limited budget for this kind of link building. If you can't get links from somebody else's websites, you can create more properties in your niche. It's typically an approach that requires a lot of effort, where you create similar and related websites to your main site. Most of the time such sites are interlinked, and this is a problem that has been unofficially tolerated by Google for quite some time, even with the biggest websites. But such websites are oftentimes used to trade links with sites operated by others. There are numerous misconceptions that such sites need to be hosted on different C-class IPs, but with the implementation of CDN solutions, such as for example Cloudflare, this idea has become outdated and impractical. I'm not going to say something for or against different C-class IPs. If you use such websites only to share links with others, such a thing is not a relevant subject anymore. Each SEO expert needs tools for tracking search engine rankings. Apart from Hrefs that got mentioned earlier, Google itself has already provided the most relevant tools. Google Webmaster Tools can be used for tracking sitemaps, for indexing sites and web pages, and for tracking keywords. Google has once again offered keyword tracking. In reality, you could see almost any keyword you were ranked for and its placement in the search results. If you pair it with Hrefs Keyword Explorer, you can use it to improve any current listing by implementing on-page optimization to that particular web page, or by simply improving rankings with new backlinks. Keyword tracking tool that complements Google Webmaster Tools very well is Hrefs Keyword Explorer. Results are updated every few days, and most of the time they're more accurate than Google's results, believe it or not. This is because Google sometimes doesn't show all the keywords in its Search Console tool for a simple reason that they are using sampling for their metrics. Hrefs Keyword Explorer is a useful tool that can be of tremendous importance in figuring out which pages are already ranked high, but despite high number of monthly searches, they are still not getting a lot of traffic. That is very important for the next subject, which will be the closing of today's masterclass. This is one of the questions that I get most frequently. I did SEO right, but I still do not get any traffic. Is my website banned? Should I abandon it, or is there something I can still do about it? I'm not sure if you've heard it before, but there's a joke about Google results that I keep repeating during every session, and it goes something like this. Page 2 of Google is the best place to hide something from prying eyes. For those who do not understand it right, this means that if your website is not ranked on the results page number 1, you will be getting next to no traffic. You've done all the on-page SEO right, you increase the number of links, but nothing happens with your traffic, and the main question is what could you do? This is a very usual situation where site owners abandon SEO for good and they consider their site to be a failure. But is it really like that? For example, some of your pages are listed on position 15, and that is page 2 of Google, and it is a low competition keyword with reasonably large number of searches. And what you could do is quickly tweak your SEO page and slowly add some links to that page, and you will be on page 1 of Google in a matter of days. And that's where the tools that I already mentioned earlier come to help. If you follow this masterclass carefully and have applied all the advices to your website, don't give up. Track your search positions and try to boost them either by using off-page SEO tactics already mentioned or by tweaking your on-page SEO. SEO is a great source of income, but there is no such thing as a magical way of making money without doing any work. SEO requires continuous improvements, frequent addition of new content to your platform, and it requires daily link building. But in the long run, just tell me, do you know of any other way where you can earn 10 times your monthly wage only with your work? I appreciate your time and hope to see you again soon on some of the upcoming search engine optimization masterclasses. I'm Marshall from SEO Backyard and hope to see you again soon. I wish you much better 2021. Have a great day. Bye.